I've been fortunate not to like work with artists with like
Yeah.
massive egos.
I'd imagine this job is hard.
2 or 3 days after that first email, I did like 5 dates in California with Koe. That's like how I got on my first tour.
So welcome back to the podcast. I know it's been a while because I've had technical difficulties with the podcast moving forward. If you haven't noticed, it's a different setup. But today I'm meeting Michael. I don't want to butcher your last name like you butchered mine.
Please try. Go ahead.
I had it's Herrick.
Flawless.
Is that okay? Okay, just making sure. But I had how long ago did I hit you up? Like a good week, 2 weeks, maybe.
Something like that. I think it might have been 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, he's what's the proper title? Videographer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Media bro is what I prefer.
Media bro.
But video
So I've seen that you
works too. Yeah.
I did a little bit of research, and I saw that you've always done music. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only like front-facing thing I do.
How long has that been? Because I saw the oldest thing I could find was like 2016.
Yeah, proper research, sir.
Oh shoot.
I went on my first tour with a band in the winter of 2015 into 2016. And then I've like did college and whatever for a long time, but that was like my first little jump into the music industry. So yeah, 2016.
Okay. So I did good research then. All right, so you said college or whatever. I did see you graduated in 2018, correct?
Dude, you're like a Nardwar who lifts. Yeah, that is correct.
Yeah, I try to get like a basic information from what was. I didn't go snooping around. I saw what was on what was public.
Good. No talking to my parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
graduated from Indiana Wesleyan in 2018 with a degree in social work.
And what was like that like? Because I went to half a semester of college and I was literally just like, nah, this isn't it.
Yeah, I had the same experience.
Really?
Yeah. Dude, I was like, probably in like the first 2 weeks, I was like, college is not for me.
It's not.
And then it was like 3 years of being like, I think I'm going to drop out. This sucks. I could do other things. And then I just never did, which was clutch. Because I got a degree.
That's good. You stuck to it. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, but the school I went to was like very, it's Wesleyan, so it was like very conservative Christian. So there was like mandatory chapel attendance, and like the culture on campus was very conservative, which is like normal for like if you're around like 60-year-olds or whatever. But it was very weird being around like 19-year-olds that would like tell on you to like the authorities of campus.
That makes sense. Were you
Yeah.
so you're a Christian yourself?
I am. I wasn't then, ironically. I grew up in the church. My dad's a pastor. So I, obviously like a good pastor's kid, I was not religious and hidden from all my loved ones.
Yeah, you hear that story all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, super like anti-religion, the whole science thing. And then handful of years ago, I like went through a bunch of shit and came out on the other side. Not a Christian or anything, but just like understanding that it's important to try. So that's
Interesting.
I don't know if that gets me into. That's such a good pseudo answer. But I definitely like. I'm a man of faith. I think I could say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. I don't want to. If it's not too personal, I gotta know what that big like change was.
Yeah. No, that's too personal. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. No. You're good. You're good.
No, I'm kidding. I am so open about way too many things. I would love to talk about my deepest, most vulnerable things. I went through a breakup, which was whatever, when you're like 20, 21. Breakup was rough, and then just ultra depressed, like getting to like very suicidal, real bad mental health, pretty bad era in life. And then I made really good friends with a guy at the college I went to, and it was sick. Everything was awesome. Or I had a confidant and someone to be there for me. And then he got in a car accident and died 4 months after, kind of the worst of it. Which was obviously the worst thing ever. So I had to that was my junior year of college, and then I had to I kept on going. I was I'm gonna graduate. This sucks, but I know that I'm never coming back if I don't. So I did one more year, which was obviously hell, without my dog, and then still in a place that I wasn't meant for, maybe. But yeah, it came out on the other side. I got into therapy, started lifting more seriously, and kind of got my shit straight. That it was if I'm not gonna off myself right now, then I need to figure this out. So I need to try. I'm not here to whine on earth about how nothing actually matters. Nothing matters, but we all need to exist still.
Yeah.
So yeah, then that's kind of what led me to faith, is understanding the benefits of discipline, and then carrying that over into the spiritual realm. Because it's all super heady. I don't know if you're religious, but I'll keep rambling. I was talking to a mentor in college, and I was I just don't get it. I don't understand what's going on, or full deconstruction mode. And then she was oh, do you pray? And I was no. She's do you journal or read any spiritual texts? And I'm no. And she's okay, yeah, it makes sense why you're spiritually confused right now. Then I was I'm an idiot. You are a fool. But that kind of clarified shit for me. And it was oh, I need to try to talk to the thing that created me. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, that's coincidentally enough, I think the last podcast before the I haven't uploaded in a good month, I think, or a month and a half. And funny enough, the last podcast was the podcast I filmed 2 days. I think it was 2 days before I got baptized.
Oh, no way. Are we Christ bros talking to each other?
Yes.
Right
now? Yeah, we're Christ bros. Yeah, so I had my journey as well in walking in faith, and I mean, we all have our different paths. And before I continue any longer, I do want to say that I don't care if I get demonetized. I'm fucking proud of you, and I'm happy that you found your way.
Dude, thank you.
Cause I think everybody's story is different. Everybody has XYZ going on, but I know I wasn't there, and we are just meeting for the first time, but I wasn't there. But the way you're describing it, it sounds like it was a hard time, and I'm proud of you for getting through it.
Thank you, brother. That's good to hear.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I don't know how long. I don't know. Maybe a good year and a half. Maybe I grew up always knowing that. Let's see. I remember my grandpa being super religious. Somewhat, not super religious, but I remember him going to church, and I went to church a couple times as a kid, but I was never that close I'd like to be, I am now. And I think a good year and a half ago, I started to find my own way, because I just felt I was living life godlessly too long. And there's just so many things that I want to do in life that are bigger than like a paycheck or get like for this podcast. I do want to meet like my idols. Like I'm dreaming big here, and I know like none of that's possible without God. That's just like I put that first in front of everything, and it's opened opportunities and doors. And I mean, cheesy as it sounds, it brought me to you. You know what I mean? Like it's just I didn't know you months ago, and now you seem pretty cool. And like I just wanted to put you on. I wanted to get you on the podcast, and I mean now we're having this conversation. So I think everything happens for a reason, and I don't think it is as simple as the way you said, like, who was it that told you? Like, have you been praying or have you been writing?
My college social work professor.
Yeah, with that, I think with every prayer there has to be an action behind it. So it's so easy to just ask God, like myself, like God, right now I want $1 billion. It can be done it's just given to you, but I think there's like another force where you have to act. You can't just treat God like a next door neighbor where you just go to when you need something. That's how I've been seeing it recently.
Yeah, which is funny because it's all like you can have like goals and whatever, and like I think our like natural intuition is to just like head towards them, which is like that totally works. I think it works long term. Like it's America, everything's awesome, whatever, for the people
It's America.
It's awesome for.
Yeah.
But like eventually, or at least that's what I found. Like eventually, like you're gonna have success and whatever, but like it's not going to be long term fulfillment if you're like building all that fulfillment on like your relationship being happy or successful, or like your career being good. It's like you can be replayed, so many different things. So I really like that element that like if you do like build your house on the rock, shit can like work out long term. It's awesome. And that's like also like a very like a rudimentary perspective, but it took me like 25 years to understand that like, oh, I need to like build my life around something that will never change, that created. I don't know what that means, but like I understand the concept that like I will always be chasing like earthly pleasures, even if they're not like crack, it's still like it's still like going to change, and it's ultimately going to screw me over. Why not like position my mindset towards like something that will be there for me regardless? I just need to like honor that thing, and whatever happens will happen after the fact, which like I think we all like move towards heaven on earth. The closer we like follow that, like Holy Spirit or like conviction in your heart, mind, whatever. But it's sick. It's great when it clicks. If it ever does click for someone, that's like so clarifying and gives your life purpose.
Yeah, I think another thing too that I always think of when I think of. Damn, I've rambled so hard there. I think I go back to.
Yeah, Christ is the answer, bro. Welcome to our podcast. We cater to
start a Christian podcast. Yeah. One thing I go back to all the time that I constantly remind myself, because I mean I think it's safe to say everybody has their fair share of great days and bad days, but I do think it's mind blowing to me that. And we're gonna go back to the videography stuff right now. I want to finish off right here.
Yeah.
I think it's so crazy how, if anybody's watching this and they're like religious, getting their feet wet, or they're completely atheist, just hear me out. The fact that the earth is so like perfectly far from the sun for us to live, and the fact that the timing to make yourself is so precisely like there's only one you, and I just constantly remind myself like you can't waste that. Like I could be wrong. We could die today. We come to find out there's no God. It's like, can you just picture that? We're like, the chances of us living and having a soul is so low. It's like, you can't waste that one chance.
Hell no, you need to worship God.
Yeah. No, I'm saying like wrong or not, whatever you like. If who's to say? Because again, we don't know. 90% of Christ is faith. You know, I don't know about the 90%, but like it's all faith.
I'll roll with that number, dude.
Yeah. Or like I know it's a big number. It's a big number of faith. We don't know for sure because we don't know. I'm yapping, but like you get me.
No, that's like funny. That was like a very big part of like understanding or trying to understand Christ or faith or the Creator.
Yeah,
is that we're like always trying to like intellectualize thing, or like we're empiricists. We need like data, and then there was like a Michael Gungor and Rob Bell, whatever, some like fringe Christians. They were like on a podcast and they were talking about like the point of faith is not knowing. That's what faith is. Like, we're not supposed to have concrete evidence. Faith is like choosing to believe. And that was huge. Like the vulnerability to like build your life on something that you don't understand.
Yeah, it's crazy,
like,
but like
that's illogical. That doesn't make any sense.
Yes.
But yet that's what it is. Like, faith is the decision to choose to try and believe.
Yeah, come to find out, like every day in our everyday scenarios, we have faith in everything. Like, who's to say the water we don't drink from a bottle can kill us? Or like the food at a restaurant is poison, or medicine you take is not laced with chemicals that'll kill you. You know, like it's just not even talking spiritually or like religious, or we live on faith like most of our day-to-day activities. Yeah.
It's all trust-based.
Yeah, for sure. I did not think that this conversation would sidetrack to that at all, man. Yeah.
You're definitely getting demonetized.
Yeah, for sure.
We also love everything else, too.
Yeah.
Thank you, Google.
No, but going back to videography, how did you even... Like, have you always been a passion for that, or like you always had that inside you, or a career you wanted to pursue?
No, not at all.
Really?
I don't. I don't. It's kind of fun. I wish there was like a cool like. I watched a Kubrick movie when I was 12, and I wanted to create a film or something. But it's I wish I had a cool answer or anything, but it was literally just I love music so much, and I was like performing in bands like in my youth, and then just like following that, it just, instead of like touring in a band, I started touring like with a band, and like that led to whatever, and I've just kind of like taken the opportunities that have come up in my life when they came up. And
so you were into music?
Yeah. I played like drums and bass when I was younger, in like small local bands where I grew up in Illinois. That's like how I got on my first tour, was like shooting the opening band for like the band I work with now a lot.
So one day they were like, "Hey, you're not playing today. Grab the camera."
Yeah, so like I was gonna go out with a band called Kayak Jones, with a band I was in college, and we had like a winter tour lined up between school, and they were like, "Hey, another band just offered us a full run, so we're not gonna go out with you." And I think they felt bad, so they're like, "But you have a camera, right? You could come out if you want." And I was like,
"If you want" is a crazy invite. I hate
all
that.
Like 19, so it was like, whatever, chill, bro.
Yeah. That's
crazy. That accident turned into my career, so.
Yeah. So, did that lead you to get into film at all?
Yeah, because that's like I think I shot one like live music video that first tour, and then yeah, like I don't know, is that 2017? They're just like, hey, we're gonna release a single. Can you make a music video? So we like all like hodgepodge together a music video for no money, and then we just kept on doing that, and then now it's like yeah, that's my entire life, day in and day out.
So that's like a crazy turn then. So, what was I gonna get to? Oh, so what type of music then did you grow up like on? Because I've seen with the brief research that I did, you're jumping around genres. Yeah, punk.
Yeah, it started out like emo, punk, garbage.
Garbage.
Just absolutely awful music is my favorite genre. I guess Midwest emo is like the genre that I came up in, which is like noodly guitars and people trying to sing. And then that like I had a big like hardcore music scene like where I grew up. So I like started shooting like hardcore bands, like little hardcore music videos, and then like metalcore, whatever. It's like all fairly alternative. And then like maybe 2 months ago, a label hit me up, and they found me from like all the punk work I do, but it was for an artist, Koe Wetzel, in like the country world.
Yeah.
And that's like all I've done. I mean, I'm still like doing the punk whatever, but that's like they've kept me busy the last 2 months. So it's funny, like totally like jumping genres. I didn't like think I
jumping
would
genres
do
and jumping careers.
Yeah. Jumping genres and jumping careers.
Yeah.
But it's sick. It's a very different culture, like country compared to emo.
Yeah, I was gonna before we get into that, I was going to ask. I want to know how far off your music taste is from mine. What I'm 21. At my age, what was in your top 5 rotation? No order.
21.
In terms of like your emo, like stuff like that.
Yeah. Touche Amore, Old Gray, The Story So Far, Dad's, Tiger's Jaw. Top 5. When I was 21, top 5. I don't know if you know any of them.
I think I know. I think Tigers. I don't want to like
dinky bands. Yeah.
Don't quiz me. I don't know.
Okay.
No song. No, I feel like I've no. Say like I've don't tell me like, oh, you know this one, name 5 songs. You know?
Oh yeah. I'm not that.
No, I honestly like no. I don't think I have. Confidently, no. I would like no.
Cool. That's totally good.
Yeah. So jumping genres then. It's obviously been a huge turning point, like culture and stuff like that. So myself, I don't have a specific genre of music that I latch onto. I'm big on country. I'm big on rock. Rap has its fair shares. I mean, whatever genre Post Malone is, you never know what that guy. I never know what that guy's doing.
The right genre.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never really had shout out to Lady Gaga, amazing.
We love it.
Always. Now, I've been to. See what I've been to. I haven't been to that many concerts. I went to a Cody Johnson concert. Are you familiar with him?
He's a country guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Haven't
listened,
but I see him in Spotify.
Yeah, so I went to his concert. I think that was my first ever concert. And then I went to a 3 Days Grace concert. Completely different genre. And let me tell you, like, at the they're nowhere near, like, in their own realm. They're in their own realms as far as I'm concerned, and the concerts themselves were stupidly different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, because 3 Days Grace is like a harder rock, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Got a lot of stinker heads in the crowd.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird because I can like blend in on both, but it's just they're so different. And obviously, like right now, country music is taking over. I think it's the first time in history where 3 country songs were the top 3 across, like, in the world. Mm-hmm. I think that was a stat. I think it was last year. I think it was. But it's just going back to Koe Wetzel. He just brings something different to the table. Because I love rock music for sure, and I love country music, and he sort of combines the both. I think it's what's the name of that genre? I think it's like Texas rock or something like that.
Oh, like Southern rock, Texas rock.
Yeah, I think it's like I think it's like one of the categories that you would like label Koe in, and
yeah,
I don't know. It's just something about him. He brings something different to the table that separates him from other artists,
dude,
in the country, obviously.
That was like a interesting, because I've gotten into country in like the last 3 years, but it like Americana, whatever.
Yeah.
Not like is like a big band or like big industry is like where, kind of what we're talking about is at.
Yeah.
So I have a deep appreciation, but like I got hit up by Koe, and then 2 days after I was flying to LA. So I was like on the plane, like listening to be like, what kind of country is this? Which was like good. I was like, okay, cool. It's like more emotional. And then he has like dumbass tracks of like him trying to play a fiddle. It's like, it's a blast. Like, it was like, oh, this guy's a joker. Yeah. That's sick. And then when I saw them live, it all like clicked. Because it was like walking into the green room and then seeing a bunch of cowboy hats and belts and whatever, knowing that there's probably a handful of firearms. Demonetized. Cut that out.
Yeah, you're good.
But it was surprising watching them play, because it was like, yeah, they're playing like southern rock, country rock, but it reminded me of like going to a VFW in like 2010. Because it was like they were all like metalcore guys. They just happened to be playing like southern rock. So there's like insane, like unnecessary hard parts in the country song. Like the closer is them just like, and I was like, this is crazy. But that's sick. It was like, it felt good. It felt like coming home, because it was like the perfect crossover between like alternative heavy music and then like country. That it was like, these are my people. This is
This podcast is brought to you by Raw Nutrition. Raw Nutrition is a supplement company run by some random bodybuilder. Don't know if you guys have heard of him.
No, I need a subscriber goal.
Get 100K subs and come to Florida.
Everything ranging from pre-workouts to proteins to BCAAs, and also stronger pre-workouts. The supplement company has it all. It has some of the best tasting protein I've ever had. My personal favorite protein is the Cinnamon Crunch cereal that I have right here. Now, if you're broke like me, click the link in the description. Use code BRANDONRYAN, all caps, no spaces, for 10% off your next purchase at GetRawNutrition.com. That's code BRANDONRYAN, all caps, no spaces, for 10% off your next purchase. All you have to do is click the link in the description, take you right to their website, and use that code for a discount. But anyway, shout out to GetRawNutrition.com. Let's get back to that podcast. Yeah, like, so country music growing up was, I don't know if you're going to relate to this one. I 100% you're not going to relate to it. On a Sunday morning down here, when you hear loud music in the house, we're cleaning.
Okay.
Is that a thing? Like up there where you're at?
No, I don't think I
Mainly
can.
Spanish music.
Oh, it's Spanish.
That was going to be the X factor there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually white, so I didn't,
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if it's obvious.
And you're not 10 minutes from the border of Mexico.
That is true. I am not.
Yeah. So country music for me was in that rotation that my mom would play of, if I heard it on a Sunday morning, with is either Spanish music or it was country music we were cleaning. So country music was like embedded in my head. Is I don't want to hear this because it's like PTSD going off in my head. And but I mean, on the radio, you had your your George Straits, your what was like the country scene like 10 years ago or like 15 years ago. It was like more like Nashville country. I think Luke Bryan was at the top of his game. Brad Paisley was there.
Dude, the Dixie Chicks. I guess that might be. I'm 28, so I'm 7 years older. But the Dixie Chicks were like my family's.
I'm 21.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it, like country music, I never even like got into, and then I think it wasn't around when I was like, I say maybe 17, 18, where I like would play them as like throwbacks and just for fun, and then I got into like the country music that was playing like today. So you got your Luke Combses, of the world. Obviously, like I think I found out about Koe Wetzel through a friend of mine, and I think the album, I think The Sellout had just came out.
Okay.
I don't remember specifically like the timeline, but I remember hearing the beginning. I don't know if you're familiar with the beginning of the song "Forever" by Koe Wetzel.
Maybe. I know his live.
It starts off with like it starts with like a hardcore. It sounds like a rock song, like dan 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 dan. And I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "What's this?" And then it just like I don't know, like he's been the top of my rotation for quite some time now. Him and Post Malone.
Dude, hell yeah. They're like it's cool to see. I guess maybe we're just getting older. I just relate to like all the country artists right now, or it's like more like a blue collar thing. I don't know if that's like something to do with like the internet making like more organic interactions happen, but I love it all very deeply.
Yeah, because I mean now, who's at the top right now? Like Morgan Wallen's taking over, Luke Combs and Zach Bryan, people of that nature. So it's a completely different stage for what it was. But I did want to ask you what that. I wanted to hear more on what that transition was like. How, first of all, how they even reached out to you, and what were your thoughts, and then like what was the engagement like in the beginning?
Yeah, it was pretty confusing because he's also like on a pretty solid label, like the biggest, and I don't know, but the label rep emailed my like old dead email. That I like rebranded 2 years ago or something, and somehow he had an email that I don't use anymore. So I saw it come through, and I like saw like that it was with that label, and I was really confused because I was like, what? Like this is very intricate spam, but I was like,
yeah,
whatever. Like what I'm gonna try if this is real. So I like hit him back immediately.
Yeah.
And then we were like on a call very shortly after that night. Like my wife was like, what's going on? Like it's like 7:30. Why are you jumping on calls? And then I was like, I think this might be the biggest call I've ever had. I don't know why they're talking.
Just casually.
Yeah. But it was insane. Because like I hopped on a call with the label, and then things went solid with that. We like went back and forth, like started talking like rough details on like what was up, and then I hopped on a call with management the following day. So I talked to like someone on Koe's team, and he was like, "Yeah, we passed around all your work." And like we would all love to have you out for like this California run, just to like meet the team and like see how things go. But yeah, we'd love to try you out for a little bit. So I was like, sick. I'm down. I like country. I
Yeah.
can ride with this. So yeah, I like flew out like 2 or 3 days after that first email, and then I did like 5 dates in California with Koe, and then like it was so funny. It was all last minute that like none of the details were sorted or anything. So like I got there and I was like talking to the tour manager who like kind of keeps all of the details rolling, and I was like, hey, I like got, you know, green room, whatever, and I was like, hey, the label sent me. I'm with the label that just brought me out for this, and he was like, oh, cool. Like no one knew.
Nobody knew
no
you were
one
the
knew.
owner.
So I was like, yeah, that's chill. That's whatever. But there was like no bunk or anything, so I was like trying to like find a place to sleep. So I like convinced the production manager. I was like, hey man, can I like just sleep in the junk bunk for the night while I sort details? He you know, I was like a random kid, so he's like, yeah, we could probably make that work. So I like put all my not shit talking. That's a very weird thing to just like roll up and then someone told me to come here. But then I had to like, I ended up staying on like the crew bus the entire time, but they were kind of apprehensive to hang out with the new guy for the first 2 days. But then we you know, shot the shit for a little bit. They ended up calling me Waldo because I look like this, which is pretty discouraging, but I think that was it ended up being a term of endearment. But it was a fun little week, like getting to know everybody, and then also like the culture shock. Like I haven't really felt that in years. Of like, whoa, this is a very different community. Like a lot of the guys in the band are, you know, we're on the same wave, but like country fans are very different than like alternative, like progressive circles. So that was also there was some fun experiences there. But yeah, it's been a blast so far. I'm like happy to be kind of dancing in two worlds, especially because I like them both. So it's cool that this started happening right now.
So on the way over there, like what were you how do I word this? So I know you met the management, and it was like very, like you said, it was last minute, nothing was planned. But what was it like meeting Koe? You just showed up. You're like, oh, I work here. I work for you, by the way.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I'm your videographer. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't the case. It's also like, yeah, there's a whole team of video guys. Trevor, he's like Trevor Motion Theory Media. He's like been with the team for a long time, and he's there kicking ass. But they just need to like bring on additional like media guys. So like I got to talk to like pre-existing media that was already there for a little bit, and then I think it was like the second day I met Koe, because he's like, you know, he's got like his own bus, but it was chill. It was just like, hey man, I'm the guy label brought out. He's like, hey man, how you doing? You know, it's very like chill and normal. And then we like shot the shit for a little bit. We didn't get to like much interaction the first couple days, and then I think it's like also the guys were feeling me out. But I did a few dates in Nashville they were doing like a PBS filming. I don't know if that's out actually. Mm-hmm. Whatever.
Well, this is gonna go up. Tomorrow's the 31st, which I do podcasts every Friday. So tomorrow's the 31st. It'll be that following Friday. Okay. So
I'm sure that's totally fine. Whatever. It's hype. Okay. Someone leaked information. That's crazy.
Yeah. So somebody leaked information. Some random Christian.
This is my last job with Koe. Yeah. So sorry. No, but yes, we did some event in Nashville, and we got to talk a bit more, which was nice because I shot. I've been shooting for like 7 dates or something like that, so it's cool to like shoot. We shot a visualizer for the song "Sweet Dreams" that just came out, and it was like Koe's schedule is insane, so we had like 45 minutes. Like he just did like an interview in Nashville in the morning, and then he got to the hotel room at 10, and we needed to be like in the bus at 11 or something. So like Koe got back to the room. He was like getting ready, so I was kind of like, hey, could I grab you over here for a second? But we knocked out like the first like half of that visualizer in like 45 minutes.
No shot. And that was all like improvised, or like when he was going over there, you were like thinking of a script or like some shots.
Yeah, because I also didn't want to like this guy has an hour of downtime. I don't want to be like the guy putting a camera in his face, being like, now sing the lyrics to your upcoming single. You don't want to be that guy. But we got to like, getting back to your question, we got to talk like a little bit more there, in like more of an intimate, like one-on-one setting, which was nice. But yeah, Koe's a good dude. He's a real one.
Sounds like it. From what I've seen, like I follow him. Like I said, I've been following him for what is that now? 6 years now. I mean, music aside from what I've seen on his social media and just the way he is, he seems like a cool guy. But it's good to hear like behind the scenes how he is too.
Yeah, he's like authentic, which is like I'm coming into him being like, oh, he's a country music star. So I like, I have no clue like if this guy's gonna have an ego or anything. But it was like, oh no, he's just a bro. He's just he's what he's putting online. Cool.
Yeah. I was gonna go to something. Hang on. Oh, there you go. I was gonna ask if I imagine this job is hard for some people because you went in not exactly knowing or being like a big fan. So like, how do you think you balance that? How do you think somebody who's like a die-hard Koe Wetzel fan and they get that job, don't you think it'd be kind of hard to like separate work from like being a fan, if that makes sense?
Yeah.
Have you had that experience yet? Like where you just try to enjoy the moment, but at the same time you're like, fuck, I gotta work. Like,
yeah. Luckily, like, because there's like video production of like music videos and like planned out content, and then like more like run and gun style tour content of just like, like record it, turn it out, get it on socials. The latter of like doing tour content, it's much more organic. So I feel like I can enjoy the moment more because it's not like 12 hours of production where you have like a shot list and whatever. It's kind of just like, Koe's like, I'm going to go play golf behind the bus. And it was like, looks like I'm going to go film Koe playing golf behind the bus, So it's like, it's much easier to enjoy the moment in that because it's usually much less stress. Like during the like concert, it's obviously a little bit different because there is structure and like you need to get certain assets, so you have to like sprint around the venue to get what you need. But it is I learned a lot from my close group of friends, like getting famous or like getting famous in like the little genre of emo. Because I've been able to like watch them like you don't want to like approach someone and just like trauma dump on them, be like, oh my god, you saved my life, I don't know what I would do without you, your music is the best, which is like all great compliments, and that's awesome that the music affected them that way. But then like as like a normal person just like trying to create art like as them, you don't really know what to do because it's like you don't like, oh yeah, of course, You want to like keep.
This is what I do, man.
Yeah. I'm a god. You want to like be your authentic self. So it's hard. So I got to like watch a lot of those interactions happen, and then like process with my friends, which is like kind of a good preface towards working with like already established bigger artists, because it is just like this guy's just a dude. He doesn't really like want to put on a face right now. I want to be the guy that's like makes the space comfortable enough that he doesn't have to act, and we can also accomplish what like the label needs as far as like deliverables for assets. So it's kind of a weird walk because you need to get the job done, but I also don't want to like annoy like the people that I'm working with.
I think that's a tough situation because, like you said, you don't want to bombard somebody with how you feel about their stuff because they got to be passionate about what they're doing, obviously. But you went digging on my Instagram. Do you see the picture where I met Post Malone?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah. So, this only tattoo I have, it's his signature.
Dude, it's sick as hell.
Yeah. So, I went to a concert in September of last year, and I got the pit, and I wanted to stay after because I was like, I want to meet him. I've followed Post Malone since when did White Iverson come out? 15.
Yeah.
Like September, like I think it was September 2015, around there. And excuse me, that was the number one that song that made his career. Everybody knows that. And every album, every song after that, I just followed him because I just loved his music. And that year, I don't know if you remember correctly, that was the 2023 was like the year of where it was like trending, where Post Malone didn't look okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was like screaming and didn't look all right on stage.
I remember viral video. Yeah, because it was like
yeah,
like
viral
people being like, why is he freaking out on stage?
Yeah, or like why does he look tired or something like that? So in my mind, worst came to worst, I was like, I gotta see him at least once. I don't want to put any negative energy out in the universe, but I was just like, something could be going on, you know what I mean? And September of last year, I went to go see him, and it was like a month after his newest album came out. And I kid you not, like from where I'm sitting, or from where I was standing after the concert was over, maybe not even 15 feet away from me, he's going down the line, meeting people, signing stuff, and I'm just waiting with a marker and like my shirt. I didn't know what I was gonna have him sign, but I was like, I need to just say hi to him. I didn't even pay attention to the marker. I was like, I just gotta meet him, like say hi or how he's doing, because my thought process with meeting, like I said, people of like higher status or like celebrities, if you will, is just like at the end of the day, they sleep at night and they're still people, you know. And we talked about it briefly off camera, but the point of this podcast is to talk to people for who they are, not what they are. You know what I mean? So what Post Malone, like I said, going back to the concert, he was like 15 feet away, not even. Security was like, oh, all right, he's had enough, he's gotta go. I was like, bro, are you kidding me, bro? I was so mad. I was so close. And then it was when was it? It had to be like October the next month when he was gonna open that Cane's in Dallas. Mm-hmm. My sister Brandy called me. She's like, hey, we're gonna go meet Post Malone in Dallas. I'm like, it's 3 a.m, I'm asleep. And she's like, no, but like if we leave right now, we'll get there by 11. The Cane's opens at 12. I'm like, bro, we're not, it's a 9-hour drive. We're not going to Dallas for a chance to meet Post Malone. And we checked Cane's social medias, Post Malone's social medias. There was no sign he was gonna be there. So I was like, I don't want to go. And she hit me with, you'd be more mad if you didn't go and he was there than if you went and he wasn't. So I was like, well, that being said, let's go. So I went 3 a.m, 9-hour road trip. We go to Kane. Sure enough, he's there, and he's on top with like the media people and the influencers. They open the Canes, and I'm like, you know what? I saw him again. That's fine. Let's go. He comes down to the lower deck where like the fans are at. I was like, oh shit, like I'm gonna freaking meet him. And I'm just trying to like ease my way through people to go to the front. And all I had was I didn't even have a marker. I didn't take anything. Like, so there's a shelf in my room with all like Post Malone Funko Pops, the shirt from the concert, the wine glass from the concert. There's like a good 20 Canes cups, maybe. So I didn't bring anything. I was like, what do I do? And shout out to my buddy Javi, but he had a marker. He's a blue collar boy, so he had like a Milwaukee high quality marker. He's like, bro, this is gonna stick to you, trust me. Yeah. So there was this girl in front of me, and she's like, what are you gonna have him sign? And I'm like, I didn't bring anything. And she's like, well, I'm gonna have him sign my arm for a tat. Like, you want that too? I'm like, shit, yeah. And then she just like pulled my arm forward, and then I have it on video. I don't think I put it on my Instagram, the video, but I just go like that, and then Post Malone grabs my arm and signs it, and then he gives me like a hug. I didn't know like what to say. I didn't want to hit him with the typical like the way he said, "Oh, you saved my fucking life." And I just like, dude, all I said was, "Bro, I fucking love you." And he's like, "I love you too." And then he walked away. I was like, dude. "I'm good now."
Yeah. That's worth the 18 hours of driving.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%. Yeah, so like it's, if I did get him, you know what I'm gonna say, when I get him on this pod, I just want to sit down with him and just talk, like, instead of the boring. To me, media questions are somewhat boring because it's like, it's the stuff you expect to hear, if that makes sense. Or I don't know. I like meeting the people for like I said, who they are, not what they are.
Yeah, and it's a lot easier. I think when you do have long form content like this, where you can just like shoot the shit, is like the term we've used. Like, yeah. It isn't like a structured media rollout thing. And also, that's like what fans want. Like yeah. No one wants to watch the up and coming artist go on like late night or have like Jimmy Fallon ask them 3 questions. No disrespect to Mr. Fallon, but like there's a reason why like Rogan and Theo Vaughn are like the platforms to go on when you're like releasing a book or something, because like people like celebrities, artists, they don't want to go do that. They want to just like hang out with a friend for 2 hours, and then I don't want to like see what some producer is trying to sell to me on network television, you know. Which is good.
Yeah, yeah, it's a different change of pace. I think it's so easy to it's so easy to hit somebody up, and I mean, I'm pretty sure you can find a way to hit up Koe Wetzel now, like, oh, when's the new album? And he'll just give you a blank answer. Mm-hmm. But I think it's more authentic when you actually, I don't know his favorite type of breakfast or food. I don't know. It's just when you see them as people instead of these like celebrities, it's a different change of pace, and that's the goal of this podcast. And it's been good so far. Like, I could have asked you a simple question like, "Hey man, what's Koe Wetzel like?" And you could have just answered, "He's cool," and then that would have been the end of that. I like Koe Wetzel.
Me too.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too, LOL.
Me too, thank you, Koe.
Yeah, so what do you think would be what's the end goal with your career? I know I know this is typical for like to say, and I'm pretty sure you've heard it from older people, but we're still young. There's a lot of room for growth here, especially with both of our careers. What do you think is like your end goal?
Yeah. It's kind of cool. Like, in the last year, I don't have like a bunch of aspirations that I want anymore. Which is kind of sad in a way, but I'm just like, I love what I'm doing. Like, I love like the rush of getting into a new community or like a new artist, or like challenging myself with like music videos or like any specific type of content that I'm trying out for the first time. I want to like continue doing that. I would like to de-stress a little bit. So like bring on like an assistant producer, have like a solid the same team everywhere I go would be really nice. Just because like so many jobs are in different cities across the country, so I can't like fly out like my normal Midwest team of guys. That would be great. And just to get off socials, I think would be really nice. If I could get to a point in my career where like I'm not thinking about posting or anything, and like someone is doing it for me. Yeah, that would be.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like go off the grid completely.
Well, I mean, eventually we all end up in the woods.
yeah.
But yeah, I think de-stressing would be like
for
a
sure.
good goal
Like
to have long term, of just like only doing the creative aspect of it, not thinking about money or anything like that. Just creating like art that I want to create with people that I believe in would be awesome.
yeah, especially like if you can only make a living off of what you want to do. I mean, essentially that's the goal for everybody. To that it wouldn't even feel like work, you know.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. I love me. I love making content. I love podcasts. I love lifting, but at the end of the day, it takes time to put that out. So if my ideal life would be like, if I have to wake up in the morning and talk to somebody for an hour, what more, like, you're meeting new people? I don't know. It's just in my eyes, it's just I love everything that I do, but at the same time, like you said, take some stress off. If I don't have to deal with social media anymore, like how you said, I never thought of it that way either. If I don't have to deal with like the stress of putting XYZ out and somebody could do it for me, that'd be like perfect. Because if I could just wake up, like you saw my profile, just go to the gym, talk to somebody for an hour, I mean that's fine with me.
Yeah, that's a
you know
that's a
I mean?
good life. Able to like if I could just spend time with my family, like if I could work 4 hours a day and like be physically, spiritually fit, and then just like be around my family, that would be great.
Yeah. Speaking of that, you said, we talked on the phone yesterday, you're going to be a dad, or it's your second kid?
First kid.
You don't mind me asking?
Pregnant. My wife is pregnant right now. We've got a month left on the clock. So it's
how do you
now.
I got to know about that. Yeah. So with this career, and you said you've been in a rush back and forth for like 2 months now, what do you think that's like the balance of, like, you're throwing fatherhood in there? Fatherhood is not a small I'm not a dad, but like that's not a small thing you could just leave behind, you know?
Yeah, if you're doing it properly.
Yeah.
I'm sure you could leave behind.
Yeah, for sure. But with this job, you know what I mean, this career, you're gonna have to travel, and I'm sure, I mean, you're gonna have to be there for your wife and obviously your newborn. Do you know the gender?
Not yet. It'd be a surprise.
So the day of, like, the birth, or you're gonna have
The day of.
Oh, that's
It's gonna be wild.
cool.
Yeah.
Congrats. I didn't even know. I didn't know it was that far. I didn't remember how many weeks you had told me last, because when we talked on the phone.
Yeah, 34 weeks.
Yeah, fucking
Insane.
So you think that'll be like? Do you think that'll take like a huge hit on your career, or how do you think you're gonna balance that, like, work and like life?
I think it will take a huge hit on my career. Realistically, I've just been like the last 7 years of my life, I kind of work all the time, and I'm fortunate to be able to like work with my friends most of the time. So like my social life is work, which is awesome. Like, I'm super thankful that it all kind of came out to be like that. But I can't continue to like work at the pace that I have. So I'm like, the last 8 months or whatever, I've tried to like pivot to like hire out as much as I possibly can. But dude, I have no clue is also the quick answer. It's gonna be a lifetime of pivoting because yeah, it's hard. I don't know what it's like to be a dad, and like a lot of fathers have been like giving me advice of just being like, everything changes. The only thing you think about now is the safety and security of your children. So I'm like thinking through that and like, that's really good to know. I won't want to like do the passion projects anymore, I'm guessing. But yeah, it's going to be a weird one. I'm definitely going to be leaning into like my network of people that I work with quite a bit. Like I have like a team of editors, so they're like killing the edit while I'm like on production for the next thing. But that was kind of like my wife and I's agreement with our lives together. Is she was like, I'm not going to raise a child alone, just a heads up. Because I was like touring full time. She was like, selfish? Are you going to be selfish, babe? But so yeah, I was like, totally that.
Yeah, it
that
sounds
tracks.
like a whole new chapter.
So that's why I've been like reeling back touring, and I only do like 3 or 4 day stints for work at the most. So I'm home, like I don't like butt work up to each other. So like every 3 to 4 days, I'll have like at least 1 or 2 nights back in Indianapolis, which obviously things will be changing, but I've been trying to prepare as much as I can leading up to that.
Yeah, and I feel like for sure you can hear a list from all dads everywhere, but I still feel like you just wouldn't be ready. I don't think anybody is.
Yeah, and that's like
it's a whole new chapter. Yeah,
because I do know like dads that are like reading, going crazy, like figuring, planning.
Yeah,
but like the wisest fathers have always been like, hey, you don't know. And I was like,
yeah, sounds about right.
Good to know. Like I try to remove ego as much as I can out of my life, and that's like a good thing to be like, okay, I am a foolish non-father. I cannot like conceptualize what it's like to have a child right now. I will be intentional when the child does come and how I need to move around my efforts.
Yeah, that's fucking beautiful. But that's gonna be like I'm always seeing. Damn, I stuttered. We're passing the hour mark. We're good here. We're good though. Speaking of touring, like I was about to say, my sister has been trying to convince me to go to a Koe Wetzel concert. Now, I did want to ask, is it possible that I meet you in person?
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna lie, it's fucking crazy that like we're talking here, and you just happen to be there.
Dude,
you know?
I'm down.
You'd be my convincing point, if I'm being honest.
How
would that work?
You're in Texas. Well, I think I'll be in Texas in the next year.
Well, the said concert she wanted me to go to is in Vegas in August, I think.
I will not be there.
I can get back to you on that. You will not be there.
That's gonna be
but like
any part of being a good father is why I'm not gonna be there for that one.
Yeah.
I'm trying, brother.
Yeah, but I mean, if you ever come to Texas, I mean, you know where I'm at.
Dude, I'll hit you up.
Yeah, but I was gonna say like, even though we just met, for sure, if Uncle Brandon needs to provide for anything, I mean, you got my contact info, and you're on my show, so we're fucking cool.
Dude, that's good to hear. We're dogs. It's official.
Yeah, man. So I was gonna lead somewhere. Dad. Now, do you think do you see yourself branching out to other artists or just sticking with one right now?
We'll see. I really like working. We'll see. I've been fortunate not to like work with artists with like massive egos. But I'm just at a point like mentally and in my career where I don't want to like put my efforts towards someone that doesn't have a good heart. I know there's like something we said.
That makes
like,
sense.
You know, be a good thing in the world. But I think I'm open to working with any artists if they're down to check their ego and be vulnerable in the ways that they know how.
Yeah, I can't even imagine like how. I mean, you see videos, but obviously you film them. When an artist goes on stage, just to have those people cheering, that's got to be like one of the biggest like feelings ever. They're there for you,
dude. That's so
you know
much
dopamine
in your brain, all at the same time. Of like, you're like whispering your little lyrics in the studio, being vulnerable, and then just whoops. 35,000 people are now screaming those back to you. That's a pretty big give to your ego. You know, that you're like able
I was gonna
to
say like
sell
it'd be hard not to have one. Yeah, I think that's one of the. I mean, any genre of music. I think the beautiful thing about music or any artists or any art in general is that take any artist on stage and X amount of people are at this concert. The fact that just some sounds can make everybody have that same feeling is fucking crazy to me.
Dude, that's the best. I mean, that's why I like got into music. It's addicting.
Yeah.
Especially like doing that.
It's crazy. Like, and then
yes, please.
Yeah, and then like there's no two songs that are replicated. I mean, obviously you have your remixes and your covers, whatever, but there's no like. I mean, I doubt anybody can count how many songs they've heard or memorized. The fact that like our brain can memorize so many songs, and it sounds this specific way. I'm sure if you heard a song that you haven't heard in 10 years, and like 1 second is off, you'll realize it like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll like take you back to that moment. 10 years ago too.
Yeah, music is a crazy thing. Well, 10 years ago, you're what? You were 18, I was 11.
That's insane, dude. When were you born? What year? Were you pre or post the towers?
I knew you were going to say that.
I didn't say it. We're not getting demonetized.
As soon as you said pre or post, I was like, he's going to say
those
numbers.
That's how we categorize Americans.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a year and 2 months after.
That's good. I'm glad you were able to bypass the trauma we all went through.
How old were you then when that happened?
I was 5. So. It was a hard day for me.
Makes sense. Yeah. You were struggling that day.
I cried, yeah.
What was it like? How is it? Was it like on every news thing in school?
I don't really remember because I was 5.
I think my sister's like roughly your age. She remembers it vaguely. I think probably like the same memory as you. I did want to ask though, what advice you would give to aspiring videographers? Because I have a new gym. I have a new series on my channel where I'm going around South Texas reviewing gyms, and I met this videographer. Shout out to Mark, dope ass dude. I had this other videographer / editor, Cameron. So like hearing them have their own perspectives, and then me having mine. Like there were some shots for videos that Cameron would have that I would never think of, and then Mark would have that I would never think of either, and then that they would. I know that for sure they both wouldn't have. So it's cool that everybody's different, and I'll get into that in a bit. But I do want to ask what you'd have for like aspiring videographers or people in your realm.
Yeah. I think when you're starting out with anything, but like specifically video, you need to be really intentional about where you want to be at. like where do you want to be at? What are your goals? Where do you want to get to is huge, because you need to have intention with the work that you do, and like the reasoning behind it. Because like I got caught up in like shooting weddings early on, so like yeah, it pays a lot of money, but it pulls you away from creating art. So I think like having the clarity early on to work towards what you actually want to be doing is huge. Working harder than everyone else, especially because like everyone's a videographer. We're all like cinema bros trying to, you know, capture views on the internet for our digital equity. So I like you need to be really intelligent or creative, which we're all dumbasses. So then I think the second thing is you need to like work your ass off. Like getting out there, learning, like when you're on a set or you're like any type of video production, if you're like under a director or a DP, you need to be like hauling ass, get off your phone, pay attention, ask questions, stay after, come before. That's like massive. Like I hired guys all the time that don't know what they're doing, but they're hungry, and I would much rather have that than like an established guy who's gonna like think that he's better.
Like a textbook.
Yeah. Dude, that's huge. Yeah, and then maybe like last point is get your name on your intellectual property. Like a lot of the times, or I got caught up in creating, like working really hard and knowing where I want to be and creating media for other people for them to then take it, and then they have IP on that so they can monetize it, put it wherever they want, whatever. Sure, like you get Instagram followers and you build your network in your career or whatever, but the more you retain your IP, the better it will be long term for your career. So like you like, you know, like everything you can like monetize your YouTube channel and then like eventually make passive income off of that because you own this conversation right now. That's huge. But if you're like constantly like shooting for other people to then put on their YouTube channel or whatever, you're just working. It's like there's no long-term benefits for your career. There are less long-term benefits for your career.
Yeah, I think I had you had liked my story because I reposted it, and I think if I'm not mistaken, it was I think it was like a preview on Koe Wetzel's page, and it was like what is it called, a collaborator? Like you had done that with the Koe Wetzel music page, right?
Yeah, so that's like
I think you had liked my story.
That's like such a good.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was about to say that's fucking.
Because like no one.
Yeah,
if
it's
you're
insane.
A fan of a
like
band or something, you don't really like care about anyone involved with the team realistically, unless you're like an audio producer or a other videographer. So I'm jacked. The Instagram did like open up that feature, because then like there's not like 12 posts. There's like one singular post. Everyone's tagged. Shows up in everyone's feeds.
Yeah.
It like makes it worth it.
Yeah.
For posting now. So dear Mark Zuckerberg, thank you. You are helping us develop our careers to further worship you.
What you were just getting into about the more behind the scenes stuff, I was gonna go into that more when I started talking about like the vision of like a videographer, and I did. This correlates with it, but like, are you into film, like movies?
Relatively. Usually for someone in the career and spot that I'm in, they know much more. They're like, oh, blah, 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 Tarantino, it's a private indie film. You know, like, I really like movies. I don't have like any like noir French avant-garde.
The typical film, bro. Movies that nobody's heard of, and they're like, "Yeah, this is my favorite one because I grew up with it, and it's like from 1930 or something."
Yeah.
So, very quickly though, what are your top 4 favorite movies? No order.
Top 4 favorite movie.
And this will like somewhat tell me where, like, how you judge movies. This is favorite, not best, by the way.
Favorite, not best.
Yeah.
Okay. It's funny because they're like not cinematic.
No, it doesn't matter. I'll say mine. Mine are not cinematic at all. Or like they're good, but they're not. I think they're great movies, but I don't think they're the best movies. If that makes sense. Yeah, go ahead. It can be something so simple.
Yeah, I really like 500 Days of Summer. I've probably watched that movie the most.
My great friend. I think that's right. My good friend. That was a good. I should just watched it for the first time yesterday. But anyway, continue.
Dude, phenomenal movie.
Yeah.
Her.
Oh,
great movie.
Okay. Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Dude, it's crazy, but I think Napoleon Dynamite might be the most influential movie for me.
Okay.
Cause so previous to like Koe, I'm like, I've worked with like the band's Hot Mulligan, and a ton of their video content is just like shit posting of like it's just like funny little things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think watching Napoleon Dynamite at a young age ruined me. So I watched it when I was like 8 or something, and I had no concept of like what humor is or is funny, but I knew that Napoleon Dynamite was it.
Mm-hmm.
That was the good, funny movie. And I think it just twisted my brain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so that's
3.
That's 3.
And those are all great movies, by the way. At least, I don't know if like from a film bro standpoint, but those are all. I don't want to use the word fun either. I'll say it. They're good. I don't care. What's the 4th one?
Yeah, they're hits.
Yeah.
They're hits. Yeah. Dude, and then probably it's it really shows my skin color, but probably Fight Club.
Okay. That's another great movie. I can see that.
Yeah, I've probably watched that the most.
Okay. I think I've seen it once.
You need.
I wanted to rewatch it. I saw it years ago. So, what I was getting into with that is, I gained an appreciation for movies behind the scenes because I did tell you on the phone I am a huge. I mean, you're seeing all the fitness, all the Arnold stuff here. Over there and over here is like my Star Wars and superheroes, and I am a big nerd for all of that. And funny enough, my appreciation for quote unquote cinema or film grew with Justice League. I don't know if you're familiar with all like the stuff that happened with Justice League.
Like the newer stuff?
No, like why it was released twice.
No, I'm I would say completely unaware.
Okay, so brief rundown. Zack Snyder, my favorite director at the moment. I don't know if you've seen some of his movies. He's made Watchmen, he made 300, he made Army of the Dead, Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman. Like he had the keys to DC. And I don't know if you've seen 300 or all those movies I just listed. Have you seen any of them?
A good chunk. 300 is amazing.
Yeah, I love 300. So he had the keys to DC. He made Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman. He was supposed to make Justice League, and he was well into production. I think he had a couple of scenes to film, and sadly enough, his daughter committed suicide. I think it was in post-production already, and his daughter committed suicide, and Warner Brothers was just like, they didn't care. They just said, go with your family and we'll get somebody to finish it. So they got the guy they got the guy that made the Avengers, Joss Whedon, to finish Zack's movie. The thing is, he scrapped like 80, I think the total thing was like 90% of the movie was like reshot, color graded, everything. So if you watch the Justice League that came out in 2017 and you watch 300, you're going to just it's blatantly obvious it's not the same director at all. So Zack Snyder released his director's cut in 2021, so it might be the first time in history, I can look it up, I'm sure I'm wrong, it might be the first time in history where two movies, it's not just a movie and a director's cut. No, it's like two directors, the same movie, but they're both severely different. So with that, as a DC fan, I felt robbed in 2017. Like, that movie sucked. Like, and so looking at the new version, it's just like, it made me grow an appreciation for, like, oh, this is what it takes to write, and this is what it takes to film, and to have the storyboard and the color grading. Like, I dissected both cuts, and it just made me appreciate things more, like, for film. And sort of going to, I stuttered hard, sort of going to like what your career is now. I grow an appreciation for, now it's not just said artist putting out this song. Now if I appreciate music videos more, I appreciate just the sound of them alone. And then that's not even getting to like the concerts, what it would take to like have a stage set this specific way for the sound, the lights, obviously the videographers. I think in the last 4 or like 5 years, I've just grown in a huge appreciation for the people behind the scenes, like yourself, and people who do like the marketing. It's just, there's so much more than just the final product. I guess I could say that.
It's insane to realize like how many different characters there are behind every aspect of each part of like an album rollout.
Yeah.
Because like I have no concept of like, or I've very little concept of like what it takes to like produce an entire album, from like the audio engineer standpoint, and then like getting 5 guys into one studio for 2 months to like write and record something. Like, that's so intense. And then I'm like much more aware of the like behind the scenes, or like what it takes to like produce just a music video or like video content. Because like there's like 15 people on music video sets, all like pouring into this one artist, this one band for like a 12, 14, 16 hour day. And like a lot of the times like gaffers don't get any recognition for the work that they did, but they like work just as hard as the guy with like that gets producer credit or like directing credit. So it's like, yeah, it's cool to understand the entire process and like all of the different people that put out effort, and a lot of the times not for a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, like it is just believing in an artist that you will like, everyone will cut deals in order to make like one badass thing to put out to fans. But I love it.
Yeah.
It's addictive.
Yeah, it sounds like like you said, it just takes a bigger team than I feel like the average person would expect, because it's not as simple as Koe Wetzel's dropping. It's no, everybody on deck is dropping. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, dude.
it's a different perspective when you view it that way. But I did want to ask you, so like music and all of that, like Koe Wetzel and XYZ aside, I did want to ask what your creative process is like for said project. Like, do you have any creative freedom? I don't know if you could answer that one.
Yeah, so the creative process for like, I guess we'll talk about like music video production.
Yeah.
And then like as far as like creative freedom, usually it's like a pretty big give and take. Like sometimes labels will be like, hey, we want a treatment on this song, what do you think? So you can like write a treatment and it's like 100% you. And then sometimes it's like 100% the artist, and then it's your job to like fit that into the video with like half of the money that it needs to be. But then most of the time there's like a take and give. So like, you know, like, hey artist, this is what I think would work well. Like, cool, could we add fire to that? And then you know, like loop in management. So there's tons of pre-production that goes into all of that. And I really like, there's like some jobs that it is just literally like I'm driving the ship and it's exactly what I want it to be. And those are awesome, but it is much more stressful because it's like your responsibility for the creative vision. There's no like, what do you think? You know?
Yeah,
like,
I can imagine it's scary because like there's no standard, but you are the standard.
Yeah, that you're really like putting your name out there.
Yeah.
Or your neck on the line.
Mm-hmm.
So I prefer kind of like in the middle of like coming up with an idea and then like collaborating with the artist to hear like what their thoughts are, or like when they were in the studio, like what were they thinking when they wrote that, tying in like those little elements into like the concept. That's my favorite part of it. Is like kind of getting to know the artist and then seeing their like initial vision through on like the vulnerable side of their art that they're putting out there. That was 3 vulnerables.
I know. I've been stuttering the whole pod, bro. You're good, bro. I know you did said you were in a rush here, and I do apologize for holding your time. But is there anything like closing or like any closing statements? Is what I should have said.
That's tough. That's a big.
I guess one of them could be if I go to a Koe Wetzel concert, I'm gonna ask you first. Hey, you there?
Oh, for sure. We'll be linking up.
Yeah, for sure. It'd be a weird experience.
Yeah,
like, what were you say?
Please reach out when the time comes. I would love to hang out before and after a show.
Yeah, it'd be a weird conversation to have with somebody. Like, oh, you want to meet Koe? Nah, I'm trying to meet Michael. That's trying the video guy, man. Yeah. It'd be a cool experience. But yeah, so one thing about myself is that I'm not big on traveling. I never really did as a kid. I've never left Texas. I've maybe gone to Dallas 3 times. San Antonio I love, but like all I know is home. So if I gotta leave the state, I'll leave the state. You give me the word and I'll go.
Do it.
Yeah.
Traveling, yeah, you don't even need to go abroad. The US is badass. We've got everything you need right here.
Yeah. Now,
I think I hit 46 out of the 50 so far.
Oh, that's fucking sweet.
I gotta finish it up.
I think any videographers or anybody that's beginning a career, not even just immediate, anything in general, is answer the email if it looks spam. It can open the door.
Yeah. Always follow the spam because it could be Sony.
It could be Sony on the other end, yeah. But yeah, man. I mean, it's been a pleasure. Yeah, I mean, thank you so much for coming on the show, and you are the first virtual pod, which is I don't know how this is going to be editing. I'd imagine it's easier, but we'll see. But when the time comes,
we'll see.
When the time comes, first round of drinks on me.
I love it. And thank you for letting me be your first.
Yeah, for sure. I can't exactly picture myself flying out to Illinois right now. And plus, like it's first. I thank you for coming. Thanks for, like I said, thanks for coming on. You know, it's a big thing. I didn't think you would even think twice. If I'm being honest here.
Oh, dude, of course. Thanks for hitting me up in the DMs.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, a good month from now. You said a month for your child.
Yeah.
So a lot's gonna change in a month. So, I mean, there's always room for a part 2 on the podcast. You're always welcome.
I love you. I'll send you a picture when baby arrives.
Sweet. And I guess we can close it off here, right? Anything else? What do you think?
Yeah, no. If anyone's interested in my dumb little videos, go find them.
Link to all of Michael's stuff in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you're new here, make sure you like and subscribe because we're on the road to 100,000 subscribers. We're almost 6% away. But thank you so much for watching,
Signing off.
and peace.